Okay, we're moving on to another chapter, and this chapter deals with the new language, CSS. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and you will see what that means in a minute. Let's read the overview. This lesson introduces CSS as a way to style elements on the page. The class learns the basic syntax for a CSS rule sets and then explores properties that impact HTML text elements. Finally, everyone applies text styles to their personal websites. So as I said, you'll understand what all this means in a minute. Adding style. This web lab project is using a new language to add style to the page. With a partner, explore both the index.html, located here, and style.css files. Style.css is located here. Be ready to discuss the following questions. What changes is the new language making to the page? How is this language different from HTML? How are the index.html and style.css files connected? Okay. So, what I want you to look at here is this link tag, okay? It goes in the head tags. This link tag references style.css, this page right here, okay? If it does not reference this, this lettering can't appear as red or blue. So look at this. It's black, okay? Now it's back to the colors. And that's because we have put CSS in the styles.css page that makes these letters blue and red, okay? These exercises will help you understand this. So you're going to watch this video, and then you're going to move on. CSS and Text Color. This HTML file uses a style sheet, style.css, to give the page a particular style. The style sheet contains information about what each of the HTML elements should look like. Find the code in the style sheet. Click on style.css, okay, in the files list that is making the H1 heading red. Find the code in the style sheet that is making the H1 heading red. Okay, so this is the code that is making the H1 heading red. That is what is making Odd World Records red. Change the color code, or change the code for the color of the H1 heading from red to a different color. Okay, so I'm going to change this where it says red to, let's go with brown. You see that? And it changed here. So look at how it says H1 here. That means that everything in index.html and H1 tags is brown. Okay? Remember, this wouldn't work if we didn't have this link tag referencing the styles.css page. Style.css. Okay, once you have changed the color, you're good. You're good to move to a different page. The block of code that gives rules for a particular tag is called a rule set. Okay? This is a rule set. This is a rule set. You can make new rule sets by copying the pattern you see in the rule set for the H1 tag. Okay, copy it. Let's copy it. Highlight it. Copy. Find the CSS rule set in the style sheet that determines the styles for the H1 tag. That's what I have highlighted right here. Using the same pattern, write a new CSS rule set that will determine the style for the H3 tag. Okay. Add code to set a different color for the H3 tags. Okay, so what we want to do is hit enter down here so we make some space and paste. Let me show you that again. So we copied the H1 tag, and then we went down here and we pasted it down here. and they're asking us to write a CSS rule set that will determine the style for the H3 tag. So I'm going to change this to H3, and I'm going to change the color to yellow. And that is very hard to read, so I don't want to do that. Let's change it to dark something. Dark magenta. Cool. Okay. And once you have done that, you can move on. Okay. I really like this image right here. Okay. So words and this is referring to a web page. Words and images on a web page are like the content. That is like the bones of a human body. HTML is the structure. That's like a skeleton that is together. Okay? CSS is like the style. You see this skeleton? He's wearing the Chuck Taylors. He's got a nice yellow shirt. He's got a top hat. Okay? Think about this image. Okay? And let's scroll down. Adding a style sheet. I think you should really read this and pay attention to what they are saying here. It's very important. So you need a style.css page, and that style.css page needs to be referenced in a link tag, and that link tag must be in your HTML pages. That might be confusing, but the more we work with it, the less it'll get confusing. Changing text size. You can control other things besides colors by using other properties. Find the CSS rule set in the style sheet that determines the style for the paragraph tag. Okay, so I'm going to go to my style sheet, and here is the rule set for the paragraph tag. Okay, change the text size of the paragraphs to be bigger. Okay, they are referring to font size, so let's change this number to a bigger number. Well, it's at 14. Why don't we just add a 0? And why don't we look at the page? 0. Look at that. Okay, so this is the text that it's referring to. So if I make it 14, the text is pretty normal sized. But if I add a 0 and it's 140, now the text is ridiculously large. So let's just change it to 20. Okay, this is a little bigger, but it's appropriate. Okay, so let's read the next thing they want us to do. Okay, I changed the text size. Add a new rule set for your H3 tag to make the text bigger or smaller. Okay. Okay, so add a new rule. So these are rules. This is a rule, this is a rule, and this is a rule. Now in our H3 rule set, we have 2 rules, color and text decoration. So they want us to add a new rule to our rule set to make the text bigger or smaller. That rule is font size. Let's add that. Font size H3. I think this is H3. So it's 20 now. Let's make it 25. Yep, that's changing the size. Okay, so we did that. Let's move on. Changing the font. Find the CSS rule set in the style sheet that determines the style for the paragraph tag. Okay, so I go to my style sheet again. That determines the style for the paragraph tag. Okay, here's the rule set for the paragraph tag. Change the font family and choose which you like best. Okay, choose from these font families. Okay, so here's the font family rule. Let's scroll down to our paragraph. So these, okay, yeah, these are all in paragraph tags. So this is cursive. So they want us to type in serif. Let's see how that looks. Okay, that looks pretty good. But let's look at sans serif now, because that's the next one. Whoops, sans serif. Okay, that one looks a little different. We already looked at cursive. Let's look at fantasy. Fantasy. Okay. That's fantasy. I do not like that. Let's look at monospace. Okay, that's kind of easy to read. It's very spaced out. I'm going to leave it at monospace just because that's the last one. Add a font family rule for the H1 or H3 tags. Let's do H1 because it's right here. Okay. Font family. Okay, and we need a colon here, and let's do cursive. And you need a semicolon here. So this is a colon, this is a semicolon. Okay, and once you've done that, okay, this text changed. Once you've done that, you're done. Exercise 8. Let's move on to 9. Underlining. Find the code in the style sheet that makes the H1 tag underlined. Find the code in the style sheet. So I go to style.css, H1. So we're going to look at this rule set. Okay, text decoration is the rule that makes it underlined. Change the text decoration and see which one you like. Choose from underline, overline, and line through. Okay, so we see what underline looks like. Let's look what overline. That's pretty cool, just different. And line through. I definitely don't like that. I'm going to keep overline. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Add a text decoration rule for the paragraph H3 tag. Okay, so we're doing the same thing. What is it? Text decoration. I'm just going to copy it. Oh, H3 already has it. Well, okay, I'm going to do overline again. I like that. Okay, once you've done that, you're finished with 9. Move on to 10. The text align property sets the horizontal position of the text within each line. Find the text align property in the paragraph tag. Okay, again, we're going to style.css, and we're going to look at the rule set for paragraph. Text align, left. Okay, change the paragraph alignment. Choose from left, right, and center. Okay, so we want to look at anything in paragraph tags, which is this stuff. So right now it's text align left. Let's look at text align right. Okay, so the text moved to the right. Let's look at center. Okay, so it's centered. I like left. At least in this page. I'm going to change it back to left. Keep it, do whatever you want though. Do what you think looks best. I like left. And once you've done that, move on. Okay, read through this stuff. It will help you. Okay, I'm not saying spend 15 to 20 minutes on it, but read through it. It is reinforcing things we have just learned. Okay, let's watch this video. I'm going to move on. 13. Adding a style sheet. This is your project from before. In the next level, you'll have a chance to add some different styles to it. But first, you need to add a style sheet. Name it and link it to your HTML page. Okay, I'm going to pause here. I'm about to run out of time, and I'm going to start a next video.